hopefully everybody had a chance to integrate Mongo and Mongoose with an Express application. Like I said, it was very much like the example that I did, just a different, slightly different model. There was some, obviously you had to fill out these functions. There might have even been one or two things you had to add, but at the end of the day, it was pretty simple. So I'm going to walk through this exercise. Before I start, does anybody have any questions specifically to this exercise that came up? Maybe they want to ask now that they have some experience building a full-blown API. Nope. All right, we'll hop right into it. So the first one is I want to be able to get it to do by an ID. Well, the ID is going to be on the rec.param.id. That's very specific to Express. You don't need to know what that is. That's why I put that there for you, so you didn't have to figure that out. But basically, anything with a colon in front of it is going to be a parameter, and you can access a parameter by name, by whatever name it is here. So if this was called I, then this would be called I. And that's how Express works. So you can do parameters. So once we have that ID, I'm just going to go ahead and say, give me the to-do equals await to-do dot find by ID, and then pass the ID, do a dot lean. Oops, why is it a div there? That was ridiculous. Exact. So now we have the to-do. I'm just going to say rest dot status. Rest is short for response with 200 status code, and I'm going to send back some JSON of a to-do. So this will work. So let's test this and see, like, although this will work, there's some nuances here. So let's see what that is. So if I run this, I got my URL here. I'm going to go over to Insomnia. I'm going to paste that URL here. I'm going to do a GET request to /to-do. And I'm just going to put some random thing here, right? And I'm going to hit send. And you can see it's just going to load and load. It's hanging. Like, there's no reason why the server should take this long to respond. Usually when you see that, it means something blew up and it's not telling you. So the way you would fix this, actually, let's look at the error so you kind of understand. So you can see what actually happened is we have an unhandled promise rejection warning, reference error. In this case, it's saying like ID is not defined. That's probably because I typed in the wrong ID. So let's fix that. But even after I fix that, you're going to get the same error if I run this. It's still going to hang. It's still going to break. And that's because the actual error wasn't that typo that I had. What actually was because it's trying to cast the value of that parameter to an object ID, right? The way IDs work in Mongo, like I told you, they're all object IDs. So before it actually tries to do the query for by an ID, it's going to take the value of the ID that you gave it, and it's going to try to see if it is a valid object ID. And if it's not, it's just going to fail right there. And that's what's happening. So whenever you see a cast error, that means you gave it a different value type that it's expecting. Anything find by ID is expecting an object ID always, unless you go and change what an ID is for a schema, which you can do, which we did not talk about because it's really advanced. But by default, it's always an object ID. So that's why this failed. So you couldn't just come in here and just write something like that. So that's one thing. The other thing is, like, why is the server hanging? Like, the server should just like send back an error message instead of just hanging like that. That's kind of more, a server topic type of thing. But basically, the answer is to that. Whenever you do an async await, you have to try catch your errors, right? Because it's hanging because we didn't handle the error that this was. So the way you would fix that is you would do a try catch around this async await. Or if you're using promises, just do a dot catch. So I would catch that, and now I would say, oh, if it freaked out, at least I'll just send back a 500, like whatever status code. I'll just send that back. So if I restart that, restart the server, and then go back, at least now I get a 500. It just responds immediately saying, yeah, that's just not going to work. You can see I got a 500 internal server error. So that's how you fix that. And now our server just doesn't hang, and we can do other requests. So obviously this isn't going to work until we can send back a real ID. So let's get to the next part where we can create something. Then we can grab one of those IDs, and then we'll pass it to this, and we'll see if it works. But before that, we'll get all to-dos, which doesn't take any parameter. So this should just be pretty free. So we'll just do the same thing. Do a try catch here. And I'll just do the same thing for now. We'll just send back all 500s for now. And then what we'll do here is we'll just say, I can actually just do all this in one line. I can just say rest dot status 201 or 200 for a get, and then dot JSON, and then I can just await right here, and I can just say to do dot find that dot lean dot exec. So that's just giving me all the to-dos, wildcard. I'm going to await it right in line. That's the sweet thing about await. You can just do it all in one line. So that'll just give me that, and then restart the server, and we'll try that out. So I'm expecting to get back an empty array if I do this. Oh, it's to-dos. Cool, so I do. I get back an empty array because the database didn't find anything, and the database just returned an empty array. So that's what I got back. And on to the part where we actually can create a to-do. So our arguments are response. We get the to-do create by passing up an object that has a to-do property on it. And we know what to-do has, if we go look at the model, it has a message that's unique and required, and a complete that's default. So all I really need is a message. So as long as you send back an object that has a message property, you're pretty good. So we'll do the same thing. We'll try catch this. And if we couldn't do it, we'll just say rest.status 500.send, boom. And then now we'll try to create this. So we'll say to do equals await to do dot create, and we'll pass in the to do to create. And what we'll do is we'll rest dot status 201 dot JSON, and we'll do to do dot JSON to get the JSON representation of it. So we'll do that. Restart this server. Oops, where's that at? Oh, how did that happen? Cool. So now we'll go back here. We'll do a post request to the route is /todo, and we'll add some JSON. It's looking for a to-do property on the body. So I'll add a to-do property here. And I know a to-do, the only requirement that has is a message. So I'll add a message, and I'll just say, hello there. So then I will send that. I get a 500 error because it blew up here. So whatever I sent, it didn't like it. So the way to get around that is we need to see what the error is. So we'll log this error, and we'll restart and see what happens. I'm guessing it's the way that I'm sending it up from Insomnia. It's doing some type of formatting other than JSON that I'm not aware of. So we'll try that again, and we'll send it. We'll look at the error. Oh, it looks like it's just a duplicate key on hello there. So, oh yeah, it's supposed to be unique. So let me try that again. Do another one of that. And then clear the console. Hit send. Still errored out. So this one says, oh, it's not letting me use to JSON. It's not liking that. That's weird.
Is it to JSON?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just mistyped that. It is to JSON. I just put JSON. There we go.
Don't we not put JSON strings into the JSON response sender?
This right here, .json?
Yeah, like don't we just put full objects into that?
We do, yeah. It converts it to JSON for us.
So then.
Oh, okay. So you're asking like to do .json. Doesn't that give us back like JSON? It's kind of misleading. It does. It actually gives us back an object. I know. So it gives us back an object. That's why sometimes I'll use like two objects instead. Yeah, they both kind of do the same thing. Yeah, very misleading. I know. It's kind of silly. But no, it gives you back an object. But I mean, technically an object is JSON. JSON stands for JSON JavaScript Object Notation, and technically a JavaScript object is a JavaScript object notation, so it's not wrong.
I think JSON like text.
Yeah,
JSON, right?
of course, yeah. But, I guess it's the way they rationalized it. It's like, hey, it's not wrong. Who's going to complain about that? We did. So, okay, cool. We'll send that. And, oh, yeah, I got to change the name. Jeez. See those validations? See how awesome they come in handy? Okay, now we send that. Cool, there we go. So now we created a to-do. And here we go. We got the ID. So I'm going to grab that ID. And then now I'm going to be able to, first, let's just do all to-dos. And we should get back at least one of them. And, we get 3 now because I created so many of them. So now we got 3 of them because I did those duplicate requests. And now we have 3 to-dos. And then just to get one, which was /to-do/the ID. So I paste the ID in there. And I'm just going to send it. And I get back that one to-do.